So today I want to talk to you about shoulder impingement. What is it? Well, first of all, I think it's really important to understand a little bit of the basics of the anatomy of the shoulder with respect to the rotator cuff and what can happen when you get shoulder impingement. So when we look at the model of the shoulder, this is basically a model of the collarbone, and you also have the scapula or the shoulder blade here, and then you have your arm bone right here. So you have four muscles that make up the rotator cuff musculature, and basically you have what's called, on the front part of the shoulder blade, that's the Subscapularis, and then on top here you have the Superspinatus, and then you have on the back, so this is the right, sorry, I'm going to just rearrange here. This is the right shoulder, and then when you look on the back side, you have your Infraspinatus, and then your Teres minor. Those are the four muscles that make up your rotator cuff group. Now, the main ones that usually get affected when you get shoulder impingement syndrome is usually the Superspinatus and the Infraspinatus. Now, what typically happens when you get shoulder impingement, and what is it? That's the big question. Because you probably have heard people say, when you get shoulder pain, I've been diagnosed with shoulder impingement. Well, essentially, it's a syndrome involving an imbalance in the rotator cuff. So what causes the imbalance? There can be many things. It could be an actual strain in your rotator cuff. So you might be doing some sporting activity like volleyball, basketball, tennis, whatever it is that causes you to overuse the shoulder, and so you may end up straining the supraspinatus or the infraspinatus, most likely. Or the other scenario that can happen too is you may start to develop an imbalance in your other muscles around the shoulder. So when you look at the back of the shoulder blade, there's a lot of muscles that actually attach onto the shoulder blade itself. So when you look at the top part here, this aspect of the shoulder blade here, you have a muscle called the levator scapula that attaches on the first four vertebrae of the neck. And then you also have your rhomboids, right? So you have your rhomboids minor and major. Right? And then you also have muscles that attach to the tip of the shoulder blade called your latissimus dorsi. Now that's actually a big one because it also attaches on the arm. And that's actually usually a big player. That, along with another muscle on the outside here called the teres major. So the teres major and the latissimus dorsi can sometimes pull that scapula down and really cause a lack of optimal movement in along the shoulder. So when you actually get shoulder impingement, so if you look at how the shoulder moves and you do this motion coming up with flexion or abduction, you have a little space here. That's called your subacromial space. And the reason why it's called the subacromial space is because this is the acromion, and sub means it's below. So if you can imagine what I talked about, if there's an imbalance going on there, you have muscles pulling it down, then it's going to actually cause this to happen, so that subacromial space will be smaller. And when you go to lift the shoulder up, or when you go to bring your arm up, then there's going to be that impingement happening. So that can be a result of a lot of these imbalances. Another muscle that can also attribute to that is the pectoralis minor, which attaches right onto the coracoid process, right? And to the third, fourth, and fifth rib right on the occasion, because that can also pull things forward a little bit more, giving you more impingement. So that's the causes of shoulder. Those are some of the causes of shoulder impingement that are usually what you typically see in a very athletic and fit population, or even just someone that isn't necessarily athletic, that just does a lot of lifting around the house. It can be work related. It doesn't necessarily have to be an athletic injury, but it's still, the idea is that you either have primarily a strain in the rotator cuff or an imbalance in muscles around the rotator cuff, like the pectoralis minor, the levator scapula, rhomboids minor and major, and the latissimus dorsi, and the teres major.